I've visited the charming world of the Atelier Arland series, the magical feeling mysterious one, and of course the adventurous world of Atelier Ryza. But Atelier Ayesha DX marks my first journey into Atelier Dusk's trilogy, and while I love the modernness of Atelier Ryza, boy did returning to an older Atelier feel good in this Deluxe HD version. As a good middle ground between the time limit based gameplay of Arland and the free gameplay of modern Atelier, the generous amount of time it gives to complete its main goal gives you a lot of freedom to get to know the characters in its world, giving you plenty of chances to dive into its extra content or new systems thanks to having extra time to do so. While if your lost Atelier was Ryza, it is a little bit of a different experience. If you're keen to learn more about Atelier, Ayesha's big world to explore and larger scope makes it a world I wanted to keep exploring in when I finished it. And if you like the sound of exploring the ruins and history of a new Atelier world, this upgraded version of Atelier Ayesha is a great way to continue an adventure into the world of Atelier. As its title suggests, this Atelier game follows Ayesha, a young apothecary who uses herbs and her cauldron to make medicine for a living. Some of this changes when we meet her though, as she's been doing this alone in a remote village since her younger sister Neo has been missing, until she goes to visit her sister's grave but sees a spirit version of her in the sky that makes her question where her sister may be. By a stroke of luck, a mysterious alchemist sees this happen too, and suggests that Neo might still be alive and that if she learns about the flowers at the scene, she might learn more about what happened to Neo. With that, Ayesha packs up her cauldron onto her trusty cow and sets out on a journey to find out what happened to Neo before it's too late, with many discoveries and friends to make while on her journey. While this type of game flow may be somewhat different to Atelier fans coming from Atelier Ryza, it will be very familiar to those who know other Atelier games. It's very much the gathering, fighting, synthesizing, and quest-doing game flow the series is known for, broken up by various events you unlock by doing so. Only this time goals are unlocked very clearly for those looking to get a good ending in a way that I appreciated as someone who only got one good ending in the Arland series. Goals are listed in Ayesha's diary, and it's easy to know what you do and don't need to do, as the ones with the stars next to them are the ones that impact the main story or an ending. So while the game gives you 3 in-game years to play and do whatever you like in it, it's good to have these goals more obvious this time so you can balance what you want to do with what you need to. I mostly followed the main story quest since I was playing this for review, and it took me about 25 hours to complete with a couple of long strategic boss battles that probably could have been made easier by doing some side stuff. However, I liked that it actually lets you play how you want, in that these fights can be perfectly achievable with some thought put into them, and with that way of playing, I had done the good ending requirements with about 10 months of in-game time to spare and enjoy any other quests and tasks at my leisure. So I like that the game has the right amount of time allowance in it for those like myself who go to the main goal first and then like to have fun after, or for those who want the freedom to do a variety of activities as they make their way through the large world. One thing I particularly wanted to point out with this Atelier is that if you're like me while playing Ryza and on occasion miss the events popping up all the time, events pop up as frequently as you would expect from the Arland and Mysterious trilogy. So it's not just about game flow and time limits, there's actually a lot of character development that happens in between while you get to know the weird and wonderful cast and the pure and sweet Ayesha. And there's even a whole new system that encourages you to do so called the memory system that rewards you with some powerful benefits such as special items or new features if you choose to do them. Seeking out these fun events are something I can see tempting someone off the main path of an Ayesha playthrough, although with about 10 months of leeway you could probably afford to look at more than a few, so with a good balance of gameplay, story, and its naturally unlocking character events, the way Atelier Ayesha lays it all out well made returning to this kind of Atelier game flow a lot of fun. Since Atelier Ayesha is back to old Atelier, this re-release is back to the grid-based synthesis and turn-based combat of old, and while it can't rival the improvements Atelier has had over the last year, I found the systems just as enjoyable as I did the Arland ones. It's a good combination of everything I've learned about Atelier pre-Ryza. Battle-wise, the turn-based system has a focus on building gauges like in the Arland series, with the protection and extra moves bringing in a hint of what I remember from Lydian's Soul as well. Alchemy-wise, it focuses on elementals in a way that reminded me a little bit of the newer Atelier Lulua in that you have to keep an eye on them in a similar way to be able to give your items the best effects, which made things somewhat easy to pick up. In the gathering department, it does seem to have its own flair. With that, you can hit X to gather, and it sets you at that spot, with enemies leaving you alone until you're ready to move again or until you've exhausted that spot's items. I can kinda see why this system hasn't carried into new Atelier games, as while I wouldn't call it a bad system, it didn't really add much to gameplay at all. But it was an interesting twist on the simple Atelier gathering system that was interesting to try nonetheless. The battle and synthesis systems, with their similarities and differences, are at the quality I would expect in Ayesha though, and are a good reminder of the parts of the older Atelier formula that I like. Ayesha's battle system and what I've experienced from the rest of the Dusk trilogy so far seems to take a focus on using both items and support attacks and defenses to your advantage. That can be the difference between winning and losing if used right. They also serve as a good active element to engage with for those who prefer something more active, and I found the support system helps to make each turn feel meaningful, as it can be the difference between getting that lost hidden or not. In terms of synthesis, while this is the older grid-based system that is nostalgic to return to and has familiar elements, I particularly enjoyed the synthesis skill system that lets you use specific tricks that consume points to do things like copying effects or tweaking properties to help you get your item to the exact parameters you want. And this can be especially satisfying in the end portion of the game, when you can tweak most things to get extremely high quality items that make it feel like Ayesha has really improved and become a better alchemist by the end, thanks to just how far your abilities can take you. The alchemy system specifically is missing little conveniences like being able to access things like the material guide from any screen like Ryza has. However, it has its own conveniences like being able to drop materials in at random that is really good if you're just throwing something together for a quest. And there are nice things to do on the map like quests for citizens and events that only happen at certain times of year that give plenty of reasons to deep dive into all the intricacies of Ayesha's take on Atelier's great systems and world. Ultimately, I like the way Ayesha felt familiar yet different, and for both the new and old Atelier fan, I think it's a good way to experience both the nostalgia of older Atelier systems while learning more about what makes Dusk unique as well. The last DX Atelier game I reviewed, Atelier Maruru, seemed to transition into a better 3D style than the Atelier before it, and this visual quality continues in Ayesha, with facial features looking pretty and some of the older environments looking beautiful thanks to things like glowing flowers, and with creativity in how these ruins are designed making it look pretty good for a near 8-year-old game, helped naturally by the HD touch from this deluxe edition. The flower theme of this game makes it particularly beautiful as well. Ayesha looks like a gorgeous flower fairy most of the time. Many areas have different varieties and colors of flowers that add life to them, and if you've ever liked the pretty image of Atelier games, the creativity in this world and characters is one that really lets you marvel at that. This is also one of my favorite games musically for Atelier, since it has that Dusk Arno Surge era sound that makes me shout for joy on the inside, with its mix of charming Atelier tracks along with the tribal feeling ones with cool harmonies that I adore. And as I get more and more into the Dusk trilogy, I'm excited to see this carried into other games, as it really elevates all the great areas and moments in the game. Aside from music and visuals, there are a lot of little things I like in this content-filled DX version. There are speed-up options for battles and running, with the latter being a speed that felt much more comfortable for me to use. There are plenty of costumes to try, and a few playable characters that you wouldn't even know were DLC, as they have their own events anyway that make the world feel like there's always something new to find. And as a game that already has plenty of content in the form of all of its quests, flyers hiding on the map, and places to find, this version of Atelier Ayesha definitely feels like it has more than enough things to do, both with and without its extra content. It is worth keeping in mind that this is ultimately a remaster of Ayesha with extras, so any flaws from the original probably have made their way into this one. For example, a minor grievance I had was that you can zoom in on faces while in most events, which was something I often triggered by accident. But the minor things like this I found were never things that truly bothered or ruined anything for me, and if you liked the Atelier Arland Deluxe Pack, you can expect that same kind of quality here, and Ayesha has me continuing to love these deluxe packs, as it really does get these games that are worth discovering on some modern systems, and I'm sure I'll be coming back to this one thanks to how smooth it is to use, how many endings there are to unlock, and how convenient it is having it on a console that I use often. For For those who are looking to discover older Atelier games since Ryza, or are continuing through the series chronologically since the Lost DX trilogy, Atelier Ayesha DX's own unique take on Atelier's gameflow and its floral beauty makes it a great way to dive into a new Atelier world. It makes those difficult time limits much more comfortable and achievable, with clearer goals and some extra time that allows you to get to know the world more, all while giving me reasons to look forward to my second playthrough in the vast world of Ayesha, as there are so many extra events and areas that I'd like to spend more time discovering. It's not going to rival the latest Atelier in terms of modern slickness, but its HD look and quality of life features make it very comfortable to play on modern consoles. So after coming to love this game's protagonist too, I'm looking forward to trying the rest of the Dusk trilogy thanks to these new versions, and I'm so grateful for how accessible these versions make discovering the Dusk trilogy, as I can't wait to dive more and more into the world. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you'll try Atelier Ayesha DX or the rest of the Dusk trilogy, and if you already have, what did you think of it? You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. And until next time, thank you, bye!